Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. And if it's Monday, it's coffee talk. I'm here today with my co host, Laura Giacomelli Huntowski. Laura, say hello to everybody.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
We are brought to you by the International Dance Entrepreneurs Association, also known as IDEA. This program is passionate about dance education, passionate about the soul of dance, and passionate about our opportunity to pass it on to the next generation. So we welcome you today. I am going to ask you, Laura, how was your Thanksgiving holiday?
Thanksgiving was great. My husband and I went to my sister-in-law's house with baby Cole, and we spent the day there. And then my family moved to the Poconos, which is about 2 hours from my in-laws. So that was too far to do in one day. So I went up there for the weekend, and we did Black Friday shopping, and just kind of hung out and ate a ton of turkey for a second round and my mom's stuffing, which I was yearning for on Thanksgiving Day. So it was great. How about you? What
So,
was yours?
oh, I had a blast. I call it living the normal life.
Yeah.
Sitting down, dinner, family, friends.
Yeah.
Um, I love and appreciate the time off and the time to do that.
Hmm.
It was a great week.
Yeah. It really
Um,
worked out too, which was nice. I feel like I know that I have social media messages, but I actually was like, no, the studio's closed. I sent out my big happy Thanksgiving and I did all of that and I did like scheduled posts, but I'm like, after I'm done this, then I'll go into my messages and go through that. But I agree. I like really logged out this year, which was very, very nice. I was
I
present.
made a point to do that last night. I responded to an email last night and said, believe it or not, I actually took the last few days off.
Mhm,
Sorry for the delay in my response.
mhm.
Actually, that's something you have to learn how to do, right? I mean, that's another talk right there, is to say, no, I'm actually going to do this for myself because it's what I need.
Right.
I want to take you in a different direction. Tell me what is or are some of the activities or things that you're going to be doing at your school during the holidays.
Oh, okay. So our first one that is coming up is our Holly Jolly Winter Saturday Camp. This is coming Saturday. I actually just posted about it again to keep promoting it before I logged on for this. So we do it's kind of like a parent night out, but we call it a camp. And it's like all Christmas holiday themed. They can wear their Christmas pajamas or holiday pajamas, and they dance and do crafts and have snacks. So we have that going on. We have party week leading up to the week that we are closed. I actually just ordered all of our studio holiday gifts. Gotta love imprint. It's like for imprint. I love them.
For imprint,
Yeah.
yes.
I just ordered all of I did a wristbands and it says Libra Dance Studio on it. And the inside it says be bold, be you. So I just ordered all of them. So we have like a lot of like fun stuff going on. We do a huge costume contest at the dance studio. And it's funny, you wouldn't think like the senior girls and dancers would be like that into it, but they literally every single day they have a theme. Like sometimes they come in as like all the elves and like someone's Santa. Sometimes they come in as like a menorah. Like every single night they all come in and everyone's involved. So I always pick like the best ones and we get them like Starbucks gift cards and they just have so much fun with it. So yeah, we have like a lot of stuff going on at the studio. Oh, and then the last
Cool.
is we have snowflakes, paper snowflakes, and all the kids have to fill one out. I feel like a lot of studios do this now. They talk about what you're thankful for. We did it for Thanksgiving and they wrote something down. But for Christmas and around the holidays, we talk about how everyone's different, just like snowflakes, and you're all unique. So I have snowflakes I ordered on Amazon, just paper ones, and it says my name is, and it says I'm a snowflake because, and they talk about I'm so kind, or I'm a great friend, or I love to paint, I'm a great dancer. So they kind of put something on there that makes them different from everyone else. So, and then we actually put them in the month of January in our windows, and that's like our January decorations. So that's really fun too.
Thank you for sharing that awesome idea, my friend. You just got a love on that.
Yeah.
So, to our audience out there, please let us know where you're from in the comments. I didn't mention this earlier because I don't have my script in front of me, honestly, but I want to tell you who our special guest is. It's Evan Ruggiero. He's a tap dancer, an actor, a singer, but I look at him as a guy who is a motivator. That was hard to say this morning. A motivator because he's had a unique journey, a journey that maybe some of us would not have made the choices that he did to continue on with what his passion was about. We'll be talking to him shortly. We'll bring him in after we run this commercial for the Dance Life Teacher Conference. We'll be back in a moment. There you are in that last shot. I didn't plan it that way, but how cool was that?
I was wondering if you planned that, Rhee. I was like,
No,
oh,
I
there he
didn't,
is.
but I shouldn't have said that because it sure was a good one.
Yep.
Evan, how's it going?
It's going well. It's going really well. I'm down in Olney, Maryland, doing Beauty and the Beast. I'm playing the Beast. That's why I have this crazy beard that I've just been growing out. Yeah, but thank you for having me today. This is going to be fun.
Thank you for being here. We're
Yeah.
so excited to chat with you.
Yeah. So what's new?
I'm gonna start off by saying to you, take you way back for a second.
Okay.
When was your first dance class? How old were you? What made it happen?
My first dance class was at the age of 5. And I saw my sister in a dance class and I thought, all right, this looks like a good time. Why not give it a shot? And at that same time, my dad had also just purchased me the Michael Jackson VHS history with all of his music videos. And so I was watching the videos, that my dad got me. And then I saw my sister in the dance class and I thought, wait a minute, this can actually happen. Like there's a way that I can do this right here. And my mom signed me up for hip hop. And I was not that great at it, but I had a good time. There was also another guy in class. It was my neighbor. He signed up as well. I went the first week and I was like, yeah, no, it's a good time. It's a good time. Just trust me. Just join me. And I just really wanted to have like another guy friend there.
Mm-hmm.
And he stuck it out for the year with me. Yeah, and we had a good time. We really enjoyed ourselves. But then I wanted to do something else with dance. I wanted to tap dance, and that just became the rest is history. My history with tap dancing.
And did you? How old were you?
That was the next year. That was 6 years old. I started out in your basic tap class. Started doing pullbacks and wings and time steps. And I really really got the hang of it pretty quickly. And I enjoyed it. I loved going to class. I loved how my feet could just make a lot of different sounds, and it felt like I was playing the drums with my feet. And some years passed, and I got good. I got good at it. And my mom had found this professional tap company in New Jersey called the New Jersey Tap Ensemble, and they were having a summer boot camp. And so you can go and you can take classes with masters from New York City and just from all over the world. And I signed up for a couple classes, and I really enjoyed myself. And the artistic director, Deborah Mitchell, had approached me and said she wanted me to audition for her company. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. This sounds great.
Evan, how old were you at the time?
I was 10 years old.
Wow.
Yep. 10
Wow.
years old.
You were so young. That's amazing.
I was a kid. I know. And I was.
So wait a minute. You're saying you tap dance for about a year?
No, 6, 7, 8, 4 years.
Oh,
4 years.
Four.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
4 years. I was getting good over those 4 years. Come on. I had those double wings and double pullbacks. But here's the cool thing about that company is that it was dedicated to passing on the legacy of rhythm tap. And a lot of the tap dancing that I was doing at my studio was that more traditional Broadway style tap dance, where the arms had to be out and perfect. So the exciting thing about this company was that I was really going to take my musicality to the next level. I would be working with live musicians for just rehearsals as well as performances. But the audition story was crazy because I auditioned for the company and I got a call back, and my mom drove me to the callback, and I remember sitting in the back seat of her car crying my eyes out. I was terrified. I don't
So
know.
you're overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was so overwhelmed. I was so scared. And I didn't want to go in. And I literally chickened out. I didn't go in. I didn't do the audition. And my mom was so mad at me. And it was one of those, like, she drags you in by the ear and she sits you down with, with the director. And she's like, tell Miss Mitchell why you didn't come in. And I was like, oh, I was crying. I was so scared. But Miss Mitchell had me write her a letter as to why tap dancing was important to me. And at 10 years old, I was just like, I love tap dancing. It makes me feel good. I like making music with my feet. And she invited me to come to the next rehearsal to dance with the group to see how I hold up. And I remember it was just the guys, and there were 7 of us, and we learned choreography to Everybody Loves My Baby, which was one of their staple dances. And we do the one man. And so, we would all have to stand behind each other and just form this one man, and you were just, as straight as can be. And then we would do this pinwheel in it. We would do, the shuffle off the buffalo, going sideways, left and right, just as like one single unit. And I remember that day. And at the end of that rehearsal, I felt so accomplished. And I got this large envelope from Miss Mitchell, and it was my acceptance packet. And from there, I had one of my first performances at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, and also at Lincoln Center with Duke Ellington's granddaughter, Mercedes Ellington. So it was off to a great start.
God, from such a young age, that's incredible.
Oh, it was cool. And I was just starting middle school, so I was just starting sixth grade. And I remember there were some days where I would get a note to give to the principal that said, oh, please excuse the young principal dancer, Evan Ruggiero, from school on these days because he'll be performing at, yada, 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 wherever it may have been.
What was that balance like though at school? Like if you were a professional dancer and
I
middle
was,
school, what was that like?
I'll say I was in school more. It wasn't like I was like missing like one day a week or something.
Yeah.
Um, but it was exciting. It was exciting because there was a teacher that I really connected with, and that was my drama teacher. And when she found out what I was doing, she was like, "Oh my gosh! Like I need to just introduce you to musical theater. I need you to do plays with us. I need you to do all of this." And then the band teacher was all excited because then he got me into playing the drums, and then it went hand in foot.
Yeah.
Um, but it was great. It was great in certain aspects. In other aspects, it was very difficult. It was really hard being a guy dancer in middle school.
Mhm.
And I got picked on constantly. I got shoved into lockers. I got punched in the arm constantly and like spent a lot of time in the principal's office doing these like interventions with the bully, and I was like, I don't know why I'm like why is this happening? Why can't I just go to dance class? Um so that was a it was an exciting time for me, but it was also a difficult time for me. Being in middle school. By the time I got into 8th grade, at the end of middle school, you're at the top of the food chain now in middle school because it was just 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So
Mhm.
were better. And then high school came along and everybody was kind of doing their own thing. Like all the cliques would just pretty much hang out within their own cliques because if you were in football, you that's all you did is you played football, you had your games on Friday night, you traveled. I was in the marching band as well. And so that's it. I was in the marching band on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was my schedule for band, and then I would have rehearsal with the company on Thursday nights. Like that was always a thing. Thursday 5 to 7, and then my other dance classes I was fitting in around that band and company schedule as well.
I want to ask you a question before you
Yeah.
go on. What, just for our listeners, whether they see it today or on demand, you tell me what made you keep going
Mm.
when it was tough and people were making fun of you or bullying you? What was, because that's a point where so many boys stop.
Yeah.
What was it that kept you going?
I did a lot of different things as a kid. Dance, soccer, baseball, karate. I mean, I'll just tell this funny story that I like to tell. My dad was a AAA ball player, and he was drafted to the Cincinnati Reds organization, and he couldn't actually play pro ball because he tore his shoulder. He hurt it. Um, but he supported me every step of the way, and as a young guy playing sports, as well, I'm sure he wanted to see me playing baseball. And I was out there playing baseball as a young kid one day, and a high fly ball comes out to center field, and nothing's really coming out to center field at 10 years old. And I jumped up in the air and I did a tour jete, but also caught the ball, and that was my moment in baseball. But the guy next to my father says, "Oh my gosh, like it looks like that guy's out there doing ballet." And my dad just turns to him and he says, "Yes, he does. That's my son." And it was just that
Mm.
proud father moment of like, yeah, that's my son out there.
Yeah.
And so it was my parents. It was my mom who took me to dance class every day. It was my dad who came to the recitals, who brought the flowers with my mom, who took us out to dinner afterwards. If it was competition, he drove us. He got the whole hotel room set up. It was the competition days of being a kid, going away like on some trip, with your dance friends, getting to meet like all these exciting, like famous dancers when I was a child. I remember my first Broadway musical that I saw was "Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk," and Savion Glover was in it. And
Woo.
I was 7 when I saw that. It was 1997, and then around age 12, around that time, at one of my shows at NJ Pack, Savion came by just to say hey to all the kids, and that was just like one of those, wow, like here you are in person, like this is really cool. Just getting to talk with all these masters as a kid is just what really kept me going. um, there weren't really any guys at my local dance studio. I was the one, male dancer.
Mhm.
But when it came to the tap company, I had so many older men who were such good influences on me, and so that really helped me going.
I think it's being exposed in any way that you can to, I feel like, I mean, obviously I'm a female dancer and I've always had strong female dancers in my life. But now as a studio owner, like I do have one little boy on team this year and he's with 28 other girls. He is my one boy. But the thing is, like, he is so proud to be on team. My mom runs my front desk and his name's Nate. And my mom found out, and they have this little connection, the two of them. And he always goes in and talks to her about his Pokemon cards. And, like my mom's like the boy mom.
That
So
was me as a kid.
yeah, he has that little connection with her. And my mom found out that he made company. And she goes, Nate, oh my God, I found out, bud, like you're on company. And he said, my mom goes, it just made my heart explode, Laura, when he said it to me. She goes, I can't wait to wear my jacket to school, my company jacket. And I'm like, oh, like that's what I want. I want him to know, like, be
Yeah,
proud of that. You work so hard to get that company jacket and to be on that company team. Like, so like for me, like I feel like I'm like soaking up all of this because this is the first year that I've had a boy on our team and I don't want him to lose that passion or get uncomfortable or and I feel like you said, he's still young, he's only in second grade,
yeah.
but those years are coming where I unfortunately I'm sure people will start saying stuff to him, so it's
It,
nice to get that feedback from
I mean,
you.
I will say though, like the positives of social media are now just the access to everything,
Yeah.
and just seeing so many dancers and performers out there, how, men, women
Hmm.
of all sorts of just, that can provide motivation for you to just keep going.
Yep.
I do believe it's a better world
Yeah.
than it was, let's say, 20 years ago or 30 years ago when I was growing up. I too went through what Evan talks about. And
Mhm.
it's funny because his answer was something I would answer was my mother always took Rennie and I to talk to the teachers at different conventions, classes, and those men would encourage us to keep dancing. And I really think that was how you balance going to school and feeling
Yeah.
down, and then
Yeah.
over the weekend going to a master class, maybe with a Gus Giordano, or going to New York and taking a class, and my mother going, hey, will you give my boys some encouragement? It was that's what boys need. But we're in a much better place in 2022 in most cases.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
This generation doesn't care. It's their parents
Yeah.
who care and
Right.
say things. But if you keep this going for about another 10, 20 years, it's
That's
it's be
this
who
whole.
you are.
Mhm.
Be who you are in this world. Okay, so Evan,
Yeah.
there came a point, I don't know how old you were, but you discovered that you had pain in your leg, or you were having pain in your leg.
Yeah.
Take us from that point forward, if you would.
I was a sophomore at Montclair State University. I was getting my BFA in musical theater, and I was singing every day, and I was in ballet class 4 days a week, and tap and jazz and acting classes, and I was in the middle of a rehearsal process for a show that we were about to open, and I woke up one morning with a pain in my right leg, and I couldn't walk at all. And so I called my mom and just told her what was going on, and she had me take an X-ray. And so I got this X-ray, and that doctor said, "Okay, like this looks like a lesion or a tumor or a mass of some sort, and so I want you to have this checked out at Sloan Kettering." And so I hear the word Sloan Kettering, and I'm like, "Well, can't like Sloan Kettering specializes in cancer." So I met with the specialist at Sloan Kettering, and I told him all about my life and what I do and being a dancer and being in a show, at the moment. And, just based off of the x-ray that he saw and the pain that I was in, he wanted to do a biopsy operation to figure out what this is. And I pleaded with him. I said, "Yeah, but it's opening night. It's opening night of this show. Can I just please do my opening night?" And so he let me do opening night. And then the next morning, I scheduled at 6 a.m. for surgery. And after that biopsy, I was told that I was being diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is bone cancer. And, I would require, more surgery and treatment to rid the cancer. And we weren't really sure at first what that actually meant. And we talked about chemotherapy in the beginning, but it didn't look like the cancer was that severe where I would need to go through chemo. And so it looked like surgery was going to be the best option. And we did everything we could do when it came to having the function of my legs and just the, having a sound body so that I could continue dancing. I remember talking about different surgeries with my team and, the results of what that surgery would leave me with, mainly because I said, well, don't forget I'm a dancer, or don't forget I'm an actor, or I'm a singer. I have to do all this stuff in my career. Like, this is what I want to do, please respect that. And they did. And so the first surgery that I had was the removal of the cancer and the shin bone, the tibia bone, the section of the shin bone that had the cancer. They took it out, and then they took the fibula bone, the smaller one, from my left leg, and then they put that into my right leg, and that was supposed to grow to become a new tibia bone or shin bone. And then when that kind of had its setbacks and there was a blood clot there, they talked about taking muscle from my left leg, and I said, no, please don't, my dance. And then they said, oh, well, like, we could take it from your abdominals. I said, no, please don't. Like, I'm an actor. Like, if I ever have to take my shirt off in a movie or something or on stage, I don't want to have a scar going across my stomach or anything like that. I was so vain at the time. Here I am with cancer. This is what I'm thinking about. And so they decided to take muscle from my lat muscle along the back. And that worked out well. I wound up spending 31 days in the hospital, had a lot of complications while I was there, but I made it home for Christmas 2009, New Year's 2010, right there. And I spent the next, was it like 5 months going to physical therapy, trying to get stronger. I lost a lot of muscle and a lot of weight just sitting in the hospital for over a month. And, I wanted to walk again. That was the big thing. I wanted to walk. I wanted to put weight on my leg. I wanted to get back into a dance class. I wanted to go to school again, see all my friends. So things were starting to look up around May of 2010. I had this large external fixator on my leg, which kind of looked like a halo device that was holding my bones in place. And I was so embarrassed of it. Like, this was truly the worst thing in the world at the time. It was this halo device on my leg, in my head. I wore the same pair of sweatpants every single day. I tried to cover this device. I didn't want people to see, like underneath this device too. You could see the skin graft on my leg. It just, like, my leg it looked beat up. Something was something was wrong. And finally, we put a date on the calendar where this device was coming off, and this was the best day ever. And my doctor also said that he was going to take some hip bone, and his term was slam dunk it into my tibia bone, because hip bone is very lively and that'll jumpstart the cells. And I mean, the main thing though that I cared about was that this fixator was coming off. I was like, great, new life, here we go. And I have that operation. I wake up from the surgery, and the fixator's off. I'm in a cast, but something doesn't feel right. And I realize my hip felt totally normal. And I was expecting to have that like kind of post-surgery numbness kind of area in the hip, and it wasn't there. And my doctor said, Evan, we got the fixator off, but we analyzed your leg before the operation, and it looks like you have new cancer cells forming. And there's a threat that it may have spread to your lungs. It may be in the soft tissue now. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. What this plan is that we're going to do. And so the next day comes, and I really truly did not expect the news that I was about to hear. But I was told that I would have to have my right leg amputated to some degree, whether it be a foot rotation plasty, which was a new surgery at the time where they rotate your foot and then they attach it to your residual limb so that you could have a functioning knee joint, or an above the knee amputation. And I was pissed off. That's really it. There's no other way to describe how I felt. I was yelling. I was angry. Because I had just gone through 7 months of surgery and treatment, and what was it all for if we were just gonna come to this moment right here where we were going to amputate my leg? Why didn't we do it 7 months ago? And I didn't have to go through all this trauma and pain.
Because you told them what you wanted and they gave it their best shot.
I know. Well, and that's the thing too, is that in his words, he said, well, we're not just going to amputate your leg from the jump. We want to, save your limbs. We don't, there's so many other, operations that we can do that isn't, resorting to amputation.
Right.
And within this conversation that we were having, we did start to get on a more positive footnote. And we did start talking about prosthetics and the advancements and how far they've come, and running and swimming and walking. And in that moment, I remembered that there was a tap dancer who tap danced with a prosthetic leg. Mm-hmm. And my teacher, Miss Mitchell, we were watching a video one day when I was 16 years old in class, and it was all the great tap dancers. It was Charlie Atkins, Gregory Hines, Savion Glover was in there, Tip Tap and Toe, the Nicholas Brothers, Sammy Davis Jr. was on it, and sure enough comes Peg Leg Bates, Mm-hmm. And at the time, I just thought, like, wow, this guy's amazing. He's laying it down with one leg, and he's doing better than most people with two legs. And I didn't really think much of it other than that until fast forward. Now here I am, and I'm being told that my leg is going to be amputated. And I said, you know what? If Peg Leg Bates can do it, so can I. Mm. My doctor knew who Peg Leg Bates was. And he believed in me, and he shook my hand. He vowed to save my life, and he said that he would be there for my first performance. And so I signed the paper that says, hey, you're going to have your leg amputated on May 21st, 2010. There's no going back. That's it. Here's the contract. And I did it. And I woke up, and I spent about a week in the hospital. It was probably one of the easier operations I had done. It was straightforward and to the point. There was there was nothing that really needed to be monitored other than my pain, and it was for the most part under control. But he did a great job. He did what he had to do. Um, about 2 weeks after that operation, when I was back home, he did call me to let me know that it was now high-grade osteosarcoma, and so I would need to start chemotherapy, which I was terrified. I was terrified for that because I knew that going through chemotherapy, I would become very weak. I'd become very sick. And one thing that frightened me about it was the image that I would have, and how I would look. And I already had. I was already very self-conscious about the way I looked because now I just lost my leg.
Right.
So I had to deal with that. And now I knew I was going to have to go through this, and now I was going to lose all my hair, and my eyes were going to be all sunken in, and I didn't even know it. That's really where it was for me. I didn't know anything else about like the side effects that would actually happen. And looking back at photos of the way that I looked, it was far worse than my initial thought. But so I was terrified about that. And I eventually said, okay, I'm going to do this after a lot of back and forth between the doctors and family and friends about it. I did it. And then through some scans, it looked like there was something going on my left lung. And so the doctors wound up going in there, and they went into both lungs, eventually, and took out a total of 8 different tumors that were laying dormant there. So it was just it was a time in my life. I wound up going back to school during the chemo and right after my amputation, because fall registration was April of 2010. And in April of 2010, I was feeling great. Remember, I was going to physical therapy. I was like taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So I registered for 13 credits worth of courses. And
you did that in the fall? You took 13 credits?
I did it, yeah.
Wow.
So what happened was then over the summer, as I was going through chemo right after the amputation, it may have been like July or August, and I told my team, I said, look, I'm going back to school. They were like, you can't go back to school. I was like, no, like I'm going back to school. They said, like if somebody has a cold or a cough, like while you're going through chemo, like that can really put you in the hospital. And I said, well, I have to do something with my life. I can't just sit here every single day and just think about this. And I went back to school. I did it. And my teachers were great about it. They just said, when you're here, you're here. When you're at the hospital, you're at the hospital. Just be there. Don't worry about your classes. Don't worry about the homework. Don't look at it. Just focus on what you have to do and just, make it back here so that you can be here with us.
So I got to take you now a little forward. I want to ask you. So you're in school, you're getting your credits. When did you say, I'm going to dance again? Or
So
when did you dance again?
Yeah, that was the following year. That was in 2011. So I waited a whole year after going back to school for the first time. I finished all of my chemo, including the clinical trial that I was on October 21st, 2011. And by that time, my hair had grown back. I was feeling good. I had my prosthetic leg that I was walking on for a little of, for like, it was over a year. And I said to my prosthetist, as someone who makes prosthetic legs, I said, okay, look, we know what Peg Leg Bates is doing. Why not give this a shot? I just get me a peg leg or something like that, something really simple. And he brought out this peg leg, and I tried it on, and I let muscle memory kick back in. Thought about just being a drummer and being a musician and just creating rhythms and different sounds. And I thought about a time step and how would that work with my peg leg and my left foot. Um, and I just tried to create this new vocabulary for myself so that it could make sense and so that I could speak it out as I tap it. Um, so like a time step, you know, you would have step, hop, step, full lap, step, step, hop, step, full lap, step, step. And so instead of my head, I was saying peg, hop, peg, full lap, peg, step, peg, toe, heel, peg, hop, peg, full lap, peg, step, peg, toe, heel, heel. So with the steps like the toe, heel, peg, heel, I would just try and compensate and just make the same sounds that you would instead of doing step,
Right.
full lap, step, hop, step, full lap, step. It would be toe, heel, peg, heel. So that if I dance next to you, we had the same sounds. They may just sound slightly different. But that in itself was the exciting part, was when I would dance with somebody else and we would do some choreography, or we would do a shim sham or a BS chorus or something like that. And we would hear how the sounds play off of each other.
Wow.
As a tapper, that is amazing. And you know how the universe works in such strange ways. The fact that you were a drummer and you understand music, like not just as a
Yeah.
tapper, but really understand and music. I feel like in some strange way that universe, that was for a reason that you got into drums. And I mean, like that's unbelievable.
All of it is for a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
May not be easy,
I
but
know.
it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, everything during my diagnosis, like it was everything that I did as a kid and growing up, and the hobbies that I had, and the things that I wanted to do with my life that I set out to do in my teenage years and as a kid. And I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. All just came back and just were like, this is how you're gonna beat cancer. You're
Right.
just think of these things, you're gonna act on them.
Yep.
Even during chemo, when I was at school, the director of our program put me in Sweet Charity. You know, he put me in the show. I was like, what are you thinking? I am getting chemo every day. He gave me the part of Herman, who's this like grumpy nightclub owner. And so it kind of worked out. I had no hair. I drew on this like little mustache. I was like going around just like, like be quiet, girls. Somebody actually, a family friend, not a family friend, an old teacher came to actually see me in that production and said like, wow, like that, his skull cap is so good. And my mom was just like, that's his head. Like, that's Evan. You haven't seen him in a while. You know what he's going through, right? But it was just fun, you know. Like
You
I
just feel like committed to the character. That's all that
yeah, that's what it into the character. I just was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And I would get chemo during the day, and I get like I get like I'd be in the parking lot of like CVS with one of my friends, family friends, who's a nurse, and she would administer these like they call them peg shots. They were like booster shots that my hospital gave, and they just sub Q shots in the arm. And but I felt like, oh yeah, like here we are, like in the parking lot of CVS, and she's coming up, and she's giving me the shots in the arm before the show, and I'm like going to the musical, like, yeah, we're good, I'm great, it's time to do a show. It was a time. It was just a time in my life that
It actually
go.
sounds like you have a lot of friends or teachers who believed in you.
Oh yeah, and the crazy thing too is like like I just gave like the full like these were the facts and like this is what was happening during this time, the important stuff. But
Mhm.
all the other things that were also going on during that time was that I was a 19 and 20-year-old college student,
Yeah.
and my friends were just happy to have me back, and they didn't care that I was going through chemo. They didn't care that I just lost my leg. If
Mhm.
they wanted to go to some 18 and up club on a Thursday night for Thirsty Thursday, they would drag me along with it. And there was me, the kid with cancer in the corner. I had my bowler hat on and scarf like wrapped up all around my head, you know, sipping on a glass of water, like, hey, this is a great time, guys. You know, what are we doing?
But do you think that that helped you with to keep your sense of like normalcy though?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, hands down, 100% of just being able to have fun and just being able to forget about it
Yeah.
in those moments, and you know, not leaving the business of the hospital at the hospital, and then just trying to have a positive outlook when you weren't there, because that's what people say about getting through chemo and about getting through a cancer diagnosis is your outlook. And you know, not to get down in the dumps. I mean, it's very easy to. I did plenty of times. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, it was my 20th birthday, and I was just angry at the world on my 20th birthday that I had to go through chemo, and that I just lost my leg, and that everybody else was going out living their best lives.
Mm-hmm.
But having that normalcy in my life gave me those positive moments. That, you know, it allowed me to laugh. It allowed me to have, you know, humility, you know, shame, you know, the trying to figure out how to walk again in a snowstorm and like falling plenty of times going to class and being frustrated, but also laughing about it. Like,
Yeah.
why is the school still making us go to class in a snowstorm, and why is the guy with one leg going through chemo even attempting to go to class? It was just like funny things that like we, you know, at the time we're like, oh, this is so frustrating, but then like a week later we'd be like, yeah, like, why did we think to do that? That was stupid, and laugh.
Evan, I have a video of you at the conference.
Oh yeah.
I want to share that. It's just a snippet so that our audience can see you in action, my friend.
Go for it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Was awesome. Now I know what you're thinking. You're going, Peg, pick up.
I don't have sound. What happened? Are you there?
Yes, can you hear us?
Oh no.
Oh no.
We can hear you, my friend.
Hold on, let me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, but I can't hear anyone.
Oh no.
Oh no. Let me go to my settings. My mic is working great.
Rhee, maybe put him into the waiting room and pull him out.
No,
maybe.
I have nothing. No sound.
I am going to try that. Thank you, Laura, my
Okay.
troubleshooter. Okay, let's try it.
Can you hear it now?
No.
Hmm.
Oh no. Wait, what if I leave and then come back?
No, I'm gonna.
Do I do
All right.
that?
Yeah, go ahead. And Laura and we're gonna sign off any second.
Yeah.
Leave and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
So Laura, that's a first. How are
Yeah,
you?
really. Can I just say I wrote down resilience. I feel like he's the definition of resilience.
Yes. And if you listen closely, it was like, oh, he didn't always feel like he was going to survive this or that it was positive, but became that way as time went on.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back. How cool is that, my friend?
Evan, I just said that I wrote down resilience. I feel like you're the definition of resilience. You're like a mind over matter. This is still what I want to do in my life. And to me, that's the definition of resilience. No matter what's in your way, you just figure it out and you push through. And here you are now, because what are you doing now? You're dancing professionally and touring. Tell us about that.
I am. I'm doing it. I'm doing everything still. I'm traveling around the world, tap dancing, singing, acting, motivational speaking, playing with my band. I was before COVID. I was playing with Jason Mraz, doing some shows with him. So that was a lot of fun. He's like a childhood idol. I'm in Beauty and the Beast right now in Olney, Maryland, playing the Beast. So that's a fun time. When I come back from this, I'll be down in Atlanta, Georgia, doing the Junior Theater Festival down there, where I'll be singing and dancing. It's just, yeah, it's an exciting life. I've been to just about every state in the country, all over the world, and just performing. I never thought that would happen. I kind of I wanted it to. I definitely wanted it to, but I didn't. It's so hard to actually see it really coming true. And then in those days of going through that diagnosis with cancer and then coming back to tap dancing, the just those results of just saying, wow, I'm gonna go here now, I'm gonna go there, what is happening? So it's very exciting, and it's never a dull moment.
One thing you leave out, usually I say to our guests, give me some words of wisdom. I'm going to give you one here, or a couple. You don't realize it, I don't think. But do you realize how much of an inspiration you are to kids who have disabilities or are different from the norm? Know that, yes, you're performing, you're doing all of these awesome things, but this situation you found yourself in is inspiring so many people, able-bodied people and non, and you need to know that about yourself. So that was my little re-motivational talk to you,
Thank you,
my friend.
Thank you very much. And there's a lot of children with disabilities who will reach out to me through Instagram, or their parents will. Somebody just reached out to me the other day that she has a student in one of her dance classes. No, not a dance class. It's just just a regular school class, and she's missing an arm, and they had to talk about just people in their lives. And this teacher told me that she mentioned me. She saw my stuff on Instagram, and she was like, yeah, I know that I'll be okay, and that my life will be fine because I saw a video of Evan, and he's doing what he loves to do, and so I can also be a dancer and an actor. And it just touched me. It was Thanksgiving, and I was just like, tell her she is so sweet, reach out whenever. If you want to come see the show that we're doing, just reach out to me. And then we have people coming to see the show right now who are disabled. And we did a talk back the other day on Saturday, and there was a gentleman in the audience, and he just wanted to just thank me for what I'm doing. And I could see that he was in a wheelchair, and he was just happy to see somebody like him just moving on stage, just doing something. So it really is touching, and I do love when people reach out to me and they share their stories, and we have this bond.
Attaboy. It's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as it is, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Laura, got any closing words for us today, my friend?
I hope everyone's inspired by this, because I am. That was beautiful, Evan. Thank you for sharing your story today.
you so much, Laura.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Evan, and thank you all for tuning in or watching this on demand. Evan,
Yeah.
continue to inspire, and thank you, my friend.
Rhee.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone again who was watching.